So Roy, just if you'd like to tell us, how did it all begin for you?
Okay, what happened was I was in bed one night, asleep, like you do, and I had a vision. Now, you read in the Bible where it says about dreams and visions, but I had my own vision. And it was very powerful. It was like watching the television. And I saw me standing in a place speaking to thousands of people, but these people were black people. And at the time, it didn't mean a lot to me. And I shared it with my wife, and there just seemed to be so many people coming, and like thousands, you know. And I thought, well, what does this mean? And what I didn't realise is that the Lord had put a seed in my heart for Africa. And it wasn't till some months later that I was at a church in Torquay and listening to somebody that had been out there. And they showed a bit of footage of a little boy with one shoe. He never had the other shoe, just the one shoe. And I sat there and I cried my eyes out. And I suddenly realised that this is what the Lord was saying to me. You know, this is... Jeremiah 29 says, "For I know the plans I have for you." And at that moment, I suddenly realised that was the plan the Lord had for me. And it was all too much. And it's grown from there.
I see. So where was this date-wise now? When was it that actually occurred?
Well, the time was 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
I was in a church at the time. I was associate pastor in a church. I came away from there and felt like a spare part, Shelley and myself, because the Lord has given us different talents and skills and stuff, and we weren't using them. And so over that 2 years, we prayed very hard and said, "Lord, you know, what's happening? What's wrong? Where are you?" We felt like we'd been abandoned, but you know, we knew that the Lord is in control of our lives. So we just got down and prayed, and we prayed on a regular basis and said, "Lord, when you're ready, you tell us." And then gradually over this time, the dream for Malawi became more and more real, and I started to make communications with these people. And Shelley wrote in her diary, and she said, "The only way you're going to go," I said, "I need to go." She said, "The only way you're going to go is if somebody pays for you to go." And they did. We were sponsored to go across, and I went across there for 3 weeks, and it was absolutely mind-blowing experience.
Come to build an orphanage.
Yeah. Amen.
This is from the UK. Some friends said that it's baby clothes. Have what you want, give them away, do what you like.
And these?
So when was it that you actually went across there?
We went across there in July, end of July, end of June, beginning of July,
Right.
for 3 weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So had you ever been to Africa before?
No.
So had you ever been anywhere like Africa before?
No.
Right. So it's a bit of a culture shift for you.
The first day, I took Chris, a cameraman, with me, and when we got there, we stayed in Mazuzu, and I hated it, like big time. I really hated it, and I thought, I cannot live in these conditions for 3 weeks. I can't. And I sat on the bed and I thought, who do you think you are, Roy? Who do you think you are? You're coming over here to save the world. And I know that it was an attack from the devil. And, you know, Chris and I said to Chris, don't bother unpacking your case, because tomorrow we're back on the plane. And we talked about it the next morning, and Chris said, the Lord's given you work to do. You've got to get on with it. And then by the time we'd reflected on it, I knew that was right. And I had peace. I prayed about it, and I had the Lord's peace. And then we moved on from there. But it was very challenging. Very challenging.
I see. How did you know where to go to in Malawi? What actually took you to your destination there?
Some time ago, before this, I put my name on the pastor's register to encourage other pastors around the world. And this one pastor and his family came up. Now, most of the others were from, like, Nigeria, South Africa. And when they sent me an email, it was a shopping list. Oh, bless you, brother. Oh, by the way, we need this, that, and that. But this family didn't. He said, we have children dying around us. We live in dire poverty. You're a pastor. Can you send us some sermons, some advice on how you would deal in these situations? And I said, yeah. So we sent them out a CD player. And then I made up audio CDs and I sent out, which they then sent out to 5 other pastors, and supported them like that for probably 4 months before they asked for a penny. And then I just knew that was them. When we got to Malawi, Chris and I, a lot of people said, well, you must be mad, you're sending money over to Africa, and it's not the sort of place you send money unless you actually know the people. But when we got to the airport, and there was a whole van load of people, and everybody was who they said they were, and they all had the ministry shirts on. It was an awesome time. And it's like the Lord was already waiting for us there. And I just had that assurance, and I could phone home and say, everything's fine.
Yeah, that your initial inspiration was absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And that, in a way, you'd come spiritually home temporarily, in that case, to do what the Lord wanted you to.
Absolutely.
That is amazing. Could you tell us how first, in terms of the vast shock and the difference? I mean, I've never been to Africa. I mean, what are the significant things that hit you as soon as you get off the plane?
The first thing that hit me wasn't the sunshine, which I was quite surprised. We had 3 weeks of cloud, no sun, apart from one day when it was so hot that my passport melted onto a wallet that it was in, and I had to cut it off with a pocket knife. But the following 3 weeks was just cloud and cold. Night times, it's very cold. I slept in all my clothes. I had 6 or 7 blankets, and I was freezing. So this is Africa, and I'm thinking...
That's not what I expected.
No. And so that was a bit of a culture shock. And then Chris and I walked down the town to just suss the place out and see what was going on. And we saw a man walk down the main street with just a filthy rag around his middle and nothing else. And again, I was thumped in the heart then. And I thought, I don't believe that people are living like this in 2008. This is not right. And then we went on to see the stones for sale in the market, the little clay stones. And they were eating these clay stones, and I'm thinking...
Why are they eating clay stones there, Roy? Why are they eating clay?
It's little piles of stones that basically they eat them and then they weigh in the stomach. And it takes away the feelings of starvation.
Yeah, I suppose that makes sense, because if we don't put anything in our stomach, then the hydrochloric acid will start to actually eat itself. Yeah. So in a way, these people are stopping committing suicide by eating clay and stones.
Absolutely that. That's
disgusting. That's really awful.
Yeah.
So these people don't have any possessions, and they're eating clay cakes.
Yeah.
So to keep themselves alive, well, not even to keep themselves alive, to stop themselves committing suicide quicker.
Yeah.
That must have been a bit of a devastating culture shock, to say the least.
It was the first thing that we noticed when we because the accommodation was booked by Nazareth, bless him, and he said it was a really nice accommodation, and it turned out that it's a rest house. It's called the Chawanja Rest House. Rest house, as we know it in this country, is a brothel, and it was £2.50 a night, and you go in there and you've got a bed, a couple of blankets, and a net, and